Girl, I know we're getting fined for this.
Gang, 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 gang.
Dang, I ain't know we were getting fined.
I'm lying. If I woke up like this.
Sheesh. Let me go ahead and get my makeup team to,
That's you, unprofessional.
I'm sorry. Sheesh, I feel so
As long
ill-prepared.
as long as the advice is good, we can
The
work.
advice is definitely good, but I don't look the part. Sheesh.
You sure don't. You look like a bum.
I don't know what you thought, Mekal. I told you. I want you to speak to people about investing, and you came on looking like.
I just got off work from being an accountant. That's what I look like.
Just say you're going with the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerberg look, okay? Just say you're going for that look because that's what it is, okay?
Take off the head and put a button down
Girl, fuck no.
Mekal, our my content is recording language.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hello, in French quarters.
Live at the in French quarters, first investment property. Let's hope it goes well.
What will your followers be called? The Frenchies, the Free Hive, the
No, I actually don't like when people use my last name for things.
I love your last name.
I love my whole name, but not when people try. People always do the Frenchie. The only thing acceptable is I allow Taylor to call me French.
I call you French.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I allow y'all to call me that sometimes. Other than that, I don't like when people do Frenchie. No.
Now Frenchie, no.
That's why I never. When I stopped in French, that's what I hated. Was like French maid. I hated it. I never fully loved it. That's why I changed to not read French. I changed it to in French because I just did not like. I ain't like French maid. I don't like the play off the last name. It's too cliche. It was too. People always when I was running for Miss Tuskegee. Oh, are you gonna do a Paris theme? Like, no. People do that. Like that's the part.
Yeah, I definitely understand. But your last name is so marketable. So the flow of it is just so. Boom. French.
Okay, so cool. So let's chat. I'm going to give a brief introduction on you.
Okay.
And just have the conversation that way. And then we'll go into like whatever tips you want to give and everything. But just because I don't know how I'm gonna edit it yet. So I'm just gonna do an introduction of you and then we'll just have a conversation about the topic and just go from there. So for starters, guys, this is Mekal Smith. So you have a psychology degree from Tuskegee.
Yes.
You had a bachelor's in art, right?
Yes.
Bachelor in art from Tuskegee.
No, bachelor of science. It was a BS.
It was a BS? Are you sure?
Yes, it's a BS.
It's your degree, but you don't even seem sure.
It's a BS.
You don't seem sure either. So, okay. So, graduated from Tuskegee, the best HBCU in the world. The best. It's none other. Also, just received last year master's in accounting from UT.
Taxation accounting.
Taxation accounting. Okay, have no clue what that is. I still don't know what he does for a job. By the way. But it sounds good. It sounds like it was worth the degree. You have a career in it, so all is well with that. Owner of Sleepy Owl. I don't want you to talk about Sleepy Owl yet, though. But because I kind of want you to explain more about that at the end. Owner of Sleepy Owl, self-taught investor.
Yes.
And the best title, McKenna's dad.
The best.
My goddaughter. I was gonna say the best title is my best friend, but it's not the little self-centered. So I said, McKenna's dad. That's the best title. So the reason I wanted to talk to you is because a lot of people, you helped me, even though I didn't stick with it, you helped me on investing. And I just think it's really good because it's self-taught. Just like I had my uncle as a role model for learning business, but he was still an oral surgeon. So I didn't know how to run a fashion business. So a lot of stuff I had to learn on my own by trial and error. And so just you with investing, like knowing how to do it and coach people through it, I pulled my money out, but I was happy about my $90 profit. Okay. I didn't do any work. I didn't stick to it. And I made $90. And I was like, this is a win. That's really what I want to, because I know you can get into detail about it. That part gets confusing, but I just wanted you to share the beginning of it, like just a few tips on how people get started. So before we go into that, you started investing our first year at a school. We graduated in 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm trying to figure out, because I remember when I first realized what you were doing, because we have a standing joke in our friend group that you were drug dealing. We didn't know where you were getting some money from. You just started having money out of nowhere. And so we were like, I told Nick, I was like, the dude is selling drugs. Like, I'm concerned. He's going to jail. He's working for the FBI. Like, he just needs to be careful. But you started investing. So that was the first year out of school.
Out of school.
We never talked about that in school or anything. So what piqued your interest in saying, hey, I want to start investing? Like,
honestly, so it was crazy to me how it fell onto my mindset as well, because it was when I first got the 2018 black Camaro. It was literally that's what literally sparked my interest in investments, because I realized like the Camaro's car note was like $550 something. Like I had a well-driven, beautifully like 2012 Chevrolet Malibu that was perfect. Champagne. I love that car. That car was
I forgot about Champagne.
That car was like man, you couldn't tell me nothing about Champagne. That was my Lamborghini. But when I graduated from Tuskegee, I then started working for the FBI, and like I had a surplus of money, and I'm like, shoot, I could get me a brand new car. And not realizing the opportunity cost that I would lose out on just trying to pay a higher note and just trying to fit in with the Joneses. I didn't realize that. So I realized, I'm just like, I had a free car, Chevy Malibu 2012, and I just had now I got a $500 car note, and that's a $500 expense every month coming out of my pocket. And I realized, I'm just like, Mekal, that was the stupidest financial decision you ever made. And I was just like, there got to be more people making these type of decisions more than just me. So I'm just like, okay, I need to become financially more literate. I want to become more financial savvy. I want to be the go-to person for my friends when it comes to financial literacy. So then I hit the ground running with learning stocks by choosing my specific brokerage account and the type of stocks that I would choose or play with.
Well, hold on, stop right there. Sorry, I hate to cut you off. So you had the interest, you said, okay, I want to start, investing in stocks. Like, how did you even know what a brokerage account was though? Like, did you Google it? Did you call somebody? Like, how did you even know where to start?
YouTube University. That's literally
yes.
I YouTube everything because I'm a visual learner. Like, me too. I'm a very that's my learning style visually. So if I see it being done, I can do it. Like literally, I don't care what it is. If it's a surgery, if I see it being done, I can do it. So I literally Google how to buy stocks. And
that's simple. Just Google first. Man, okay. Pause on the play, because people underestimate. We live in a world where we have so much access to technology. That when people ask questions, it's like, even when we see stuff like when it's outrage on social media, we just go, you can Google this. Like, you can Google and get some. Now, granted, you may have to dig deeper for some truths, but a lot of stuff, when people are giving out like misinformation or they just want to learn how to do something, they just don't use the simple, like, they go, how do you start a business? Like, where do I get started? And I'm like, have you tried to Google it first? Like, when you Googled it, what did Google say? But you'd be surprised, like, most people don't even start there. Like, that's literally the time that we live in. That's what it's for. Like, try that as a first step. So I'm glad that you said that. Like, I Googled it. I just simply got on YouTube and said, how do I do this? You start trial and error. Okay, cool. So back to your story. You said you were like, you looked up brokerage accounts and you started from there.
Yeah. So basically, when I was YouTubing, I literally saw E-Trade. That's why I chose E-Trade, because E-Trade has a platform for their investors to where they have certain classes. They have a group, basically a group to where they send you classes to learn how to trade on options and stuff like that. So I love the camaraderie that E-Trade had. And they had like a YouTube channel. So that was my first introduction in how to get a brokerage account. It was E-Trade. I loved the way it was simple, straight to the point. And that's I chose E-Trade because it was simple straight to the point. And it was the first one I was introduced to.
Wow. Okay. So you start, what was your first big win? Or what was the first time you was like, I know what I'm doing. Like, this is a good win for me.
So when I first started, like I was like, it's like any first new investor. When they see red, they were like, oh, heck no, let me pull this money out. Just like, that was
get my money out of here. What
let me get my money out of there. So I lied to you. I kid you not. When it took me around like literally 6 times before I opened and closed my brokerage account because I did not trust. I'm just like, man, every time I put my money here, it get red. No, I'm not like this is a scam. I see why people do it. So then I just kept on studying. I kept on studying, going to YouTube channel. Just like when you see red, that is the opportunity to buy. So when I started taking advantage of the dips or the red lines, that's basically when the market is on the sale. So when I start buying in at low points, my margin kept on increasing. I'm just like, oh wow, today I'm up $100, and then the next day 150. So I'm like, okay, all right. So let me just keep on doubling down. And there are gonna be red days, green days, but my fear every time I saw that red was what made me kept on trying to start over and restart. Now I'm to a point where I don't want to take my money out. I love seeing the account grow. And I have a better strategy on investing now on picking my specific stocks. So
okay, that's cool. That's crazy. Okay, so I say, hey, Mekal, I want to invest. I don't know where to start. Like, I think you started me on Robinhood. So what's just like some apps that you would recommend if I just wanted to start? What's the first app? Like, where do I start?
So if I was to tell anyone, I would tell them to choose a brokerage that has a great history with their consumers and customers, because that's how you get, that's how you know, like if you want to call somebody, you have a question about your brokerage account, you're going to be sure that you're going to get someone. So basically choose a company or a brokerage that has a great history of customer service. Their user interface is friendly. It's easy to work around. Robinhood
what is a brokerage account? Is that like, so you have Robinhood?
Yes.
Who else?
Robinhood, E-Trade, Fidelity, Vanguard.
Okay.
Yeah. Ameritrade. Those are brokerage accounts. Basically accounts that hold stocks, brokerages.
Cool.
So I would say, I'm a very strong advocate for E-Trade because it's so simple. And like you can call someone and they're very professional in regards to how they treat you. Because to me, I felt like a bad bougie old man calling talking about, hey,
I want to talk about my stock.
Yeah,
I can do this.
Yes, sir, Mr. Smith. We're so glad you decided to do business with us. How can we help you? Also, Mr. Smith, we're offering this options class on Saturday. If you have time, please feel free and join the Zoom call as we teach about options. I'm just like, y'all teach options? Like, wow. Like,
so they have like free classes that you can learn about. Okay, so that's good. That's good information. Yes. So I can download these and go to classes on there to learn as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and before E-Trade went into the free stock trade, it was paid. Like every time I bought a number of stocks, I had to pay a certain amount. But E-Trade kept up with the competition. It was like, you know what? We got rid of all the trading fees. Now you can trade and buy for free. So that's why I'm glad I stuck with them. But like in regards of the pay-in per stock purchase, to me, I feel like it was a great benefit because they made sure a lot more came out in regards of how your brokerage account is taken care of, the tips that they gave you, and the suggestions in regards of how to fluctuate with the market. So.
Okay. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't even know that about E-Trade. I probably would have at least tried a class.
I look at Robinhood is good too, but I look at like if you want to be a pro, go to E-Trade.
You go to E-Trade, yeah. So it's good for it to start maybe Robinhood or something like that. Yeah. But you advance to E-Trade, so that's good. Yeah. So I did ask you for a few tips just to give people who don't know where to start. So I'm just starting. I want to invest. I have a little money. I don't know how much yet. We'll get to that. So tip number one, like what's the first tip for me when I want to start investing?
First tip is understand where your money goes. Think about where you spend your money. The tip is buy stocks where you most frequent, meaning wherever you spend your money at, buy investments in those stocks.
So that's how you started me. So my first 3 stocks, I think I got to Robinhood. They give you a free stock. And so then you told me, well, who's your phone company? And I have Verizon at the time. And then you were like, don't you, do you have an Apple or Android? I had Apple. And so we went through just my spending habits. And so those are my 2 stocks. I think I had Apple, and I forget which other one I had. It was like Georgia Power. You asked me, I think I had Georgia Power. I had something that, so pretty much we just need to ask ourselves questions like, where do I spend money the most? Who's my laptop? Who's my power company? So
who's your Wi-Fi?
Who's my Wi-Fi? So I use those. So my main tip is just invest into companies where I'm already spending my money. That's just how I start. You learn the rest of it later, because I know you have a lot. You have a lot of other stuff, but just invest where I still have money. Okay, so I'm equipped. I have my app. I have the companies that I want to invest in. How much am I supposed to spend? Like,
so me
starting off.
So me, like when I first started, I always thought, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go for a low $5 stocks and hopefully they go up to 100 one day. that was a bad mindset to have, because those low $5 stocks would then become $1 stocks, 50-cent stocks, basically gonna lose your money. Not saying that all $5 stocks are non-reputable companies, but just saying that strategy, it was misinformed, poorly managed, and didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I started looking at the big dogs. I started looking at everything around me. My number one stock, this is my MVP, is Comcast. I studied Comcast like it's a playbook. Comcast owns so much. What Wi-Fi company I have? Xfinity. Who owns Xfinity? Comcast. I watch NBC News. Who owns NBC News? The Rainbow Peacock? Comcast. So Comcast is a conglomerate that owns and has so much that it offers to the world, and it has its hands in everything. The world is going to a way to Comcast is inevitable. So you can't do anything without having to spend your money with Comcast. So that's my MVP. So I stuck with the MVP, and at the time it was around $54 a stock. Now, I mean, it's dropped tremendously due to the market and Russia and stuff like that. But now it's around $46. But I just saved every 2 weeks, I got my paycheck, $100 a month. I started with 100. If you don't have $100 a month, you can do partial shares. You can buy partial shares, $5 here, $5 there. You can do that with E-Trade as well. But my thing, I want to see that number of my thing is I want to see that quantity number grow. I want to see it grow, and I want to see it grow fast. So I started making sure I spent my money less on alcohol or going out, and spent it more on saving towards stocks and stuff like that. I wouldn't buy me a new pair of Hirachis. I'm like, I guess I can just go buy two Comcast shares, and they pay a dividend. So I'm just like, the money keeps on rolling in. So Comcast, that stick with one that you love. That one of your stocks has got to be your LeBron James.
Gotcha. So really, which I think can be affordable for a lot of people. Like you said, $100 a paycheck. So we're talking about $200 a month. If you can start at $200, if you can't, you said go into partial shares. I think that's really good, because a lot of times, I mean, come on, like I love to brunch. Like, we're gonna do the hookah thing. Like, come on, man. Like, you're spending $50 at brunch alone. Like, that's just one dinner. So I honestly think it is reasonable. I think one thing about people who want to invest, you just have to make it a priority, because a lot of times we'll go $200 a month. That's another bill, but carelessly spend $200 doing God knows what anyways. So it just has to be a priority. And like you said, I think you have to go into it with the mindset of, because if I went into it and all I saw was red and I'm spending $200 a month, it seems like, no, this is not a good idea. But you're doing the research, like you went into class, you were studying like a playbook. So it has to be something that's a priority for you. And it has to be something that it's an investment. It has to be something that you invest in. So that's really helpful. That's insightful. I like that. So, okay. So we're investing in companies where we spend our money. What's tip number 2 for us? So we're ready. We have our $100 per paycheck. We're going to invest where we know. What's a number 2 tip?
Tip number 2 is quantity over. Okay. They say quality over quantity.
Okay.
All right. It's the step. Quality, then quantity. Quality.
So both are important.
Both are important.
But we want quality, then quantity.
Yes, my thing. Once you got that quality down, you focus heavily on the quantity. Don't care about no other stocks around you. Don't care about the hype. People are saying, "Oh, Dogecoin going to the." You got your team. You got your team.
These are your player.
These are your players.
You got to bank on this.
You got to work on this. I don't care. I don't care if Comcast or not Comcast. What's a company that people would? I don't care if GameStop went to $1,000 and it's only at $50 today. I don't care. My team is Apple, Qualcomm, Comcast, PPL, which is an energy company, and right now it is the Honest Company, founded by Jessica Alba. Okay. So basically, those are my top 5. Mm-hmm. So I'm sticking to those top 5. Now I got the quality. Now I'm trying to focus on quantity because that's when compound interest comes into effect. Okay. Compound interest is known as the 8th wonder of the world, but we don't necessarily know how to obtain it or how to do it. Mm-hmm. Compound interest happens when you constantly buying into those stocks, no matter if it's up or down. So if I bought Comcast today at $50 and tomorrow it went down to $30, I'm going to buy. So now when I got in at the $30 price and it goes back up to $50, my $30, the ones I got at $30, they increased by 20. Mm-hmm. And the ones I got at 50, they rebounded back to their original price. So the compound interest comes when your stocks that you bought at a lower price have then surpassed the bottom. Mm-hmm. So then you keep on growing, and now you have a gain of $300. Mm-hmm. Now you got next week you have a gain of $400, mm-hmm. and that's because you compounded your numbers to do compound growth.
Okay. So compounding interest, explain that to us one more time. So I'm investing in a stock. So you're saying the ultimate goal is to have compound interest on the stock.
Yes.
And pretty much, so give me a general definition of what compound interest is. Am I just trying to double the interest on the money that's coming in, or?
So the best way to explain compound is this. One horse can pull 4,000 pounds.
Okay.
2 horses can pull 20,000 pounds. Mm-hmm. So you see how if you would think that 4 horses can pull 8,000 pounds, but no, 2 horses can pull 20,000 pounds. Okay. That's the compounding effect of 2 horses on what they can do. One can pull 4,000, but 2 can pull 20,000. Okay. So you have 2 horses that can do more than what one could do, or it's the compound effect is it went from 4,000 pounds to be pulled to 20,000 pounds. Okay. So the compounding effect is 16,000. Okay. So compound is basically your money multiplying in a multiplier. Compound is a multiplier, basically. Okay. Think of a game like what's the game that we used to play all the time? Subway run, Subway runner, something like that. Mm-hmm. Or the Subway runner. I don't know, but like as long as you kept on running, your points or your score will multiply by 1, by 2, by 3, mm-hmm. and that's what quantity does for your stocks. Okay. It multiplies the growth that you gain on your stocks. I work with I do people's taxes. I work with high net worth individual people who have trust and partnerships, K1s and stuff like. And I'm seeing like what they invest in. I'm just like they have tens of thousands of stocks of certain shares. Mm-hmm. They don't have too many stocks. They don't have too many companies, but they have a certain number of shares in a specific company. I'm just like,
and that's what you were saying earlier. You stick to your players, whatever.
Stick to your players.
Stick with it.
Stick to your players.
Okay. So I have $100 mm-hmm. per check. I'm investing. I'm using Robinhood or E-Trade. I'm doing my homework by taking the free classes that are offered. I'm looking up videos on YouTube. My goal is to have compound interest. I know now that it's going to be quality over quantity. I'm going to stick to what I have. So, okay. I think that's really good advice to start. So what's one more tip that you feel like that if I'm starting, you've given me 2 steps so far, like what's the final tip that you would give me saying, hey, you're ready to go. Here's how you start. But what's that final thing?
The final thing is developing the mindset because you got all these, you took the classes, you got your stocks, mm-hmm. but still your mindset is not developed to endure a week of red or 2 weeks of red because it hurts your pride and it hurts and it feeds and motivates your fear to think like this was a scam all along.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, millionaires are made in recessions, meaning people who have money put aside, they literally can come in and buy stocks at the low end. And then they love that because now the stock market is at a bargain. Mm-hmm. So developing the mindset, this is how you do it. When you go shop at stuff, like when I go shop at Apple, when I buy a new Apple phone, I automatically feel pride in that purchase because it's like I'm putting money back into my pocket because as I'm buying a new Apple phone, that money goes onto Apple's books, their revenue, their net income, and it increases. So I'm just like, oh, wow, I just helped my stock grow.
So instead of you feel like you buying something that's more of a liability as an asset, you're like, okay, I bought something that could value me in the long run instead of just buying something to support another company. That's that's smart. Okay. So mindset is everything because, which in all honesty, the money that I had put in stocks I would have left it there. It wasn't money that I was counting on. I just wanted to do real estate more. And so I think a good message behind that too is the end goal is not necessarily, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just to have your money in stocks forever. Like your goal is to make money so that should you need it, you have the funds to pull out.
Exactly.
True. So that's really the goal. And so that I'm glad that you did say that, like the mindset part is important because can you survive weeks of red?
Exactly.
I was pulling it up and I didn't even know what it was. I thought I was doing well like the first few weeks. And you were like, that stock is down. The stock is down. You need to, pay attention to what's going on. And I'm like, it's kind of the equivalent of hearing no all the time and being discouraged. It's mindset is everything. Like you have to stay the course because you're not going to listen to this and go invest and make $1 million tomorrow. You're not going to watch on YouTube. Like you have those few that hit it big. And I think everybody looks at those people and go, oh, I can do that, but that's like 1 in a million. Like a lot of people have to work hard and they have to study. So I think this was really helpful. Like those 3 tips are really, really good. I think we talked and you said something important too. And I loved it. And it's the last thing that I kind of want to touch on, or I want you to touch on too, because I feel this way in any industry. I feel this way. I'm in the fashion industry. I feel this way about a lot of things. And here's why. Let me say what it is first and we can discuss it. You said, don't follow the hype. Yeah. If you are hearing about it, you already missed the boat. If you are not now and you are not in the industry or you know anything about it, you missed it.
You missed it.
Nobody's telling you can't do it. Nobody's telling you you're jumping in too late, but you're kind of too late. And the only reason I struggle with that is because, you have the popular quote that says, it's not about who does it first, it's about who does it better. That does not apply to every market. Mm-mm. It doesn't. And in investing, I have realized investing is one of those places. It doesn't. Real estate is also one of those places. It is not about who did it first. Who did it first. That's not the right quote in this situation. It's not. You have to get in first. Like some industries, the first place does matter. And so that's when you said that, I was like, yeah, because what's the main thing? Let me ask you this. What's the main thing that come to your mind when you think about if you missed it in investing?
That GameStop hype.
GameStop and Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Oh my gosh.
That's all. I'm like, man, everybody. Bitcoin. We missed it. You missed it. Get in if you can afford to. But
you missed it by like 4 years.
You missed it by a few years. It's the truth. Had you got in when everything did start, my boy, but this was one of those situations, and that's why I love that you talked about 2 things. You talked about mindset, and you talked about sticking to your stuff, because let's say you roughed out some red for a few months, and then 6 months goes by. Everybody trying to get in. You like, no, stay down for the come up. So,
well, one thing, let me touch on something that you brought up. It is purpose, and it's so the reason why my purpose into stocks wasn't to have stocks forever. It was like you said, I had a purpose for stocks. Like I wanted to save up a certain amount of money, and I knew that like the way to grow my money was not by keeping it in a savings account in a bank, but it was just like, all right, Mekal, let me take my chance, and thank God everything worked out. Because the money that I was able to save $10,000 in 4 months. Literally $10,000 in 4 months, just based on the stocks that I had and everything. And like, so my passion was like, okay, Mekal, I want to be an investor, but not like a stock investor, but like I want to invest into businesses. So like how I was able to like help you out, or like when you was like asked for that investment, I'm just like, here, boom, I got it. I don't like.
That's what I really doing. So let me tell y'all the story because it took me a long time to believe that you were doing something legal. Okay. So that is crazy because, well, I love that you brought up that example because investing in your friends is important. Depending on who you are. I don't think any of our friend group is those type of people that's like, don't work with family and friends. Like it's all family business over here. It's all friends and business. I don't think you can go into business with everyone. But I believe in being able to work with your friends. You just have to have discernment, or everybody has a skill. So you just have to know how to use people for their strengths. So I'm pro friend business, pro family business. And so that was our year we graduated from college. Didn't know you invested, and I was just in corporate. I hated this job. I was miserable. I couldn't do the boutique anymore. I was working like these crazy shifts. I was starting at 3 a.m., working like 14-hour days. And so it was just a really, really rough time. And so I just remember us having this conversation, and you was just like, French, I just feel like, you don't even look the same. Like, you don't feel like yourself. Like it's like, what's going on? And you were like, what's up with the boutique? And I was like, I'm shutting it down. I don't know. I just don't feel passionate about it anymore. I wanted to start fashion school online, all this stuff. I was just going through it. And you were like, well, how much is it going to take to like start the business? And so I was just like, I don't have the money, so it doesn't matter. I was like, I'm saving money, but I don't have it. So you were like, well, just what's the number? Like, what's the number? And so I said something like, I mean, if I just had like $3,000, like I probably could start. And you were like, yeah, I got you. I'm going to give it to you. Get it started. And I was like, you have $3,000? Like, you have $3,000 that you're going to give me? I could not. I was like, and I didn't believe you at first. I was just like, you were like, yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. But you can send me, which did not work, by the way. We won't get into that. Just send me like what you're ordering. You want it to be like a kind of until you realize that you didn't know anything about fashion for real. Man. And you were like, so I'm like, well, here's some of the pieces. And you were like, oh, this is ugly. Yeah. He sold out. People to this day still want that Daffy Duck dress. Like, it was this dress. It was so cute and flowy. You hated it. And I was like, this is not going to work. I just need the money. Yeah. I need you to trust my business. Like, I got this side of it. I need you to trust me. But that's when I first realized you were like, I'm investing. And I was just like, what? Invest? Like, what kind of investing? And so, when the money came through, I was just like, Nick. He's selling drugs. He's giving me thousands of dollars. Like, what is he doing? But I was always so grateful for that because like that was literally that'll be 4 years in September, because in French, I started in French with that money. So in French turns 4 this year. And so I think about it from time to time, I've been doing like professional shoots for the past year, just really trying to make sure the brand is being represented how I want to. And I honestly feel like it's turning into everything I wanted it to be, but it's just so funny. I feel like how sometimes God, for me, will use people and things to get you where you need to be. Because the truth is, I don't think my passion ever died. My spark in me just died. And because you knew that, I feel like so many people didn't know, but it's just small things like you taking the step towards investing to have the money to say, hey, here it is, do what you need to do.
Like, wake up.
Bring life into me. Like, and here I am now. I'm like, oh, it's about to be year 4. Like, we just shot at this beautiful farm yesterday. It was so cool. I'm gonna have to tell you about it later, but
you gotta have the people, like you gotta have that type of person. Like me, I know you. Like I know you're business savvy. You aren't one who will say something and nothing and don't act on it. So I'm just like, when I knew you were going through a rut, I'm just like, this isn't the Nari I follow. This isn't the Nari that I know who gets it done or who loves like what she does. Something's awry. Like something's not right. And this like that's my thing with people. Like when people ask, like there's genuine people who know when something's wrong with their friend. That's why I know like you, Taylor Torres, like we're true friends, because when we aren't ourselves, we immediately identify it and we get ourselves, we get each other up. But like that's how it was. Just like know the person that like I can give you money and not think about it because I know now, like Nari, what you were going through. And this is what thing the motivational videos I've been watching, it always reminded me of you because I'm just like, they always have a struggle story. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, God damn, Nari gonna be a freaking billionaire. How all the things that you were going through. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like,
you get on my nerves with that. Every time I'm having a rough time, like you be like, he about to be a millionaire.
You about to be a billionaire. Like literally,
I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm going through hell. This is what it feels like. It does not feel like millionaires on the other side of this, but I appreciate you believing.
all these entrepreneurs, all these successful entrepreneurs I was following, they all had their dark story. And I literally like the day that I reminded you, like, Nari, wake up, get it together. That was the beginning of your dark story. I'm just like, Nari, this adds to your story. When you get to that zenith or that peak, you're going to be able to tell people about this day of what was dark to you. Mm-hmm. And like, that's why I always look to you to be like, if she ain't struggling, we ain't on the right path. If she ain't got a headache,
for my success, my struggle, okay? I'm on the other side of that struggle hill. This time for success, okay?
But it's just like everything that you were going through, you took to it and you went straight into it and you turned it around. So I'm just like, yeah. And that's why that investment was so easy to make. Because at the time I was watching those videos of struggle, they was like, the person who's struggling the most, I'm just like, here you go, French. Here you go, French. Like,
yep, you just gotta have mindset. You gotta have the vision.
And don't bother and like let and like how I was impeding on your lane with the whole business and trying to be involved. Like, that's not clothes is not style is not my lane. I can't even dress myself.
And you were trying. I was like, if you do something else to me, we was arguing. And I was like, you don't know. This is what I do. Like, this is me. Yeah. This is my life. Like, I know what looks good. Trust me. The one piece that you hated was the first one to sell out. I was like, I told you. You're like, it's a duck on the dress. That's so ugly. Like, man, if people find that picture, they still want that dress. So you
but it's important to stay in your lane. So that's all I say.
That's true. Sometimes you have to be a solid investor. Yeah. So we can wrap it up. Thank you for giving us the tips on investing. I will say this to anybody that watches this, though Mekal is a self-taught investor, not gonna throw anybody's finances out there at all, but I would just say from a very sincere place, not counting anybody's money, if I needed to call him to get $5,000 to $10,000 this week, I could do that.
Yeah.
And he could very comfortably give me the money and live his life as normal. And we are 28, so close to 30, I know, but I get sweating when I start saying it. But in all seriousness, that's a big deal. Like, I don't know that our parents were able to give someone $5,000 to $10,000 and say, here at the age 28. So the tips that he's given, I feel like are very helpful. They helped me. I went a different lane. I am going to get back into investing. I just really wanted to use every piece of extra money that I had and the money that I was saving to really pour into real estate, to really learn that market, which is still good for us as a friend group because he can, he knows investing, he's mastered that and he's still mastering it. I'll master the real estate side so that if he has questions about that, like that's still something we can talk about as friends and really learn that market, really learn the different markets and really grow from that. So thank you for giving us the tips. I'm so proud of you always, and I'm happy that everything is going the way that it's going for you. So also, we'll talk about this on another episode, but Mekal also just started investing into Toro. Even though I'm still slightly against this man has 5 cars now. The money is there. It seems like it's there. I'm interested to see 6 months to a year what it's doing because it's going so well. So I'm so excited about that, but I'm gonna have to bring you on because so many people are doing that I know, in another month or two, you're gonna be able to talk about that and help people. So we'll talk about that soon as well. But the last thing I want to wrap up, what I'm gonna have everyone do. So we do a segment called at the end, an end tip. And an end tip is going to be your last piece of advice. You can either give a piece of advice for people, could be investing, could be anything that you feel, or give us a quote that you absolutely live by.
So it's not a quote, but it's more so of a advice. Like people take, this is like literally the cheat code to life is apply yourself.
Apply.
Like literally, this is how I got to everything that I've gotten in my life. I applied to it. I applied myself to that application. I applied myself to that competition. I applied myself to that school. I went in. So apply yourself, and that literally means if you have to apply for a job or application, apply, because I feel like that's how you move to the next step in the chess in this game of Candyland. So you apply, and then that's how you know if you get rejected or not. Then you move to the next step. Okay. Whatever the next step is, just apply yourself to whatever it is you want to do. Think about it, envision it, and apply.
Apply yourself. Okay, that's a good answer. So I want to piggyback off that answer really quick, because I think the underlying message behind applying yourself is also don't count yourself out.
Yeah.
Like, counting yourself out. Apply. I remember you got into this argument with someone once, and they felt like things were coming to you easy, and you were like, I got this scholarship. I Googled it and found it, and I applied. You were so irritated. You were like, I applied. I didn't know about this. Nobody connected me to this. I applied, and I got it. So I think the underlying message is also too, like, when you're applying yourself, like, don't count yourself out of stuff. Even if you hear the no's, like, try it. It's always worth a try. Like, you really, as long as you turn your mistakes, as long as you turn your no's into lessons, it's all worth making. So
I applied. I didn't count myself out when I applied to go get that master's in taxation accounting. I literally told myself, like, Mekal, they are not going to accept you because you did not have accounting classes under your belt. So I just went there anyway. I'm just like, man, I'm gonna let them tell. They're gonna have to tell me no.
You have to make me get out of here, okay? It's a hard yes until somebody can say no.
Until I get a no, I'm gonna apply. But I applied to that degree, and they said yes. Yep. I was like, holy. But apply, just apply. It's easy.
Apply. It is. Apply. And even if it's not easy, sometimes it's worth it.
It's worth it. And it adds to your story. Like, life is a story.
Yep.
Life is a story.
Well, thank you so much, friend, for being my first interview, guys. Investing 101. If y'all have any questions, I am going to drop this on all platforms. Shoot us some questions. I'm going to look at any questions and ask Mekal. We'll do a follow-up interview in a few months for anybody who may have started and taken your advice, because believe it or not, I'm not famous by any stretch. But I can be a little influential. And a lot of times, if I can get people going on the subject, I'll be like, look, you can do this. My friend got $5,000 his first month, like, invest. And like, people will start. So I'm interested to see if anybody from this video starts the journey and where they are, and we can answer questions. We can even go live and answer some questions or anything that y'all have. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you, friend, for sharing your tips.
Thank you. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.